Hi, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you are with me here today. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a mixed bag. I'm going to be talking to you about several different things. I'm going to be talking to you about the new tattoo that I got. You're going to be seeing it probably here today in this video, so I figured I might as well talk to you about it and answer any questions you might have about it. I also have a fairly large haul from the Grove, and I wanted to show you all the things that I got from the Grove. And then I also have a few new things that I purchased from Victoria Beckham, and I am loving all three things that I purchased from Victoria Beckham, so I wanted to show you those things that I got. So let's start with my new tattoo. This is not the first tattoo that I have gotten. I do have a tattoo on my back, which you have never seen, and I'm not going to show you that tattoo, but I got that back in the early 90s when I was a lot younger. And I do like that tattoo, but I don't absolutely love it. So I've always wanted to get another tattoo. And when my mom passed away about 1.5 years ago, I knew I wanted to get a tattoo in her honor. And her favorite flower was the hydrangea. So I knew I wanted to get a tattoo of hydrangeas. I just didn't know what I wanted it to look like or where exactly to get it. So obviously I looked to the internet and Pinterest for tattoo inspiration. I was very obsessed with this particular picture. I really like fine line tattoos, something very similar to this photograph where it's just a very delicate single hydrangea blossom. But then of course I had to decide where to get the tattoo. So I was very obsessed for a while with getting it underneath my collarbone, right along here, but I wasn't too sure how that would look, that particular blossom, and how it would sort of be situated underneath my collarbone. And then many of you know I'm very obsessed with tennis. I play a lot of tennis and I love to watch professional tennis matches. And one of my favorite players is Lorenzo Musetti. And I saw him being interviewed, and typically you can't see this tattoo on him because he's usually wearing sweatbands, but in this interview he didn't have his sweatbands on, and you can see in this picture he has an anchor on his right arm, and it's right here along his wrist. And I thought that looked really amazing, and I really loved that spot for a tattoo. So then I became obsessed with getting a tattoo on my right wrist, but I wasn't necessarily sure that that hydrangea blossom would look good on that spot either. So then I started thinking, how could I incorporate hydrangea in a more linear fashion? And so then I started thinking about doing the actual floret, or the little buds of a hydrangea on that particular spot on my arms. So then I started thinking about a string of the buds together. And then when it came time to start talking to the tattoo artist about the design, we emailed back and forth a little bit, and we finally got it narrowed down. And this is what she gave me as far as the design went. And then when I showed up for my appointment, she gave me 3 different sizes, and then she put them on my arm, and I decided which size I liked the best. And this is how it turned out. So this is my tattoo, and I really, really love it. It's about 9 days old at this point. It's healing up very nicely, and the process of getting the tattoo was actually not as painful as I had remembered, but this is a fine line tattoo. The tattoo that I have on my back is a more traditional tattoo where you actually feel the dragging of the needle in your skin. This is much lighter. It doesn't go as deep. And anyway, the process was very, very pleasant. I went to this woman named Rachel. Her business is called Fine Lines by Rachel. So if you are in the Portland area, I highly, highly recommend going to her if you're interested in getting a fine line tattoo. She was incredibly easy to work with, but she does book out several months. I think I made my appointment in early May, but my appointment wasn't until the very end of August. My appointment was on August 31st. But anyway, that's the process I went through in deciding on my tattoo. It was very, very long. Obviously, it was about 1.5 years in the making. Like I said, I knew that when my mom passed away, I would be doing some kind of a tattoo in her honor. So I've been thinking about this for quite a while. In fact, I've been thinking about getting another tattoo ever since I got my first tattoo, pretty much. I kind of thought that I would be getting a tattoo maybe every decade of my life. And I got the original tattoo in my 20s, so now I'm in my 50s. So it's taken a long, long time of thought and deciding upon the perfect one that I would want to get. So enough talking about my tattoo. Let's get into this big haul that I have from The Grove. Now, if you're not familiar with The Grove, they are an online store that carries natural products, very sustainable products, and they actually reached out to me. This is not a sponsored video by any means, but they did reach out to me and ask me if they could send me some products. So they gave me a whole range of products to choose from. And I have this huge box full of products. But let's go ahead and dive into the box and I'll talk about the ones that I have used and show you what I haven't used. But overall, I'm super excited about this haul. The first thing that I want to talk to you about is their daily shower cleaner. Now, this is the Grove house brand, and they have a whole bunch of products from their house brand. And I'm super impressed with this shower cleaner. I have used this just one time in the bathroom, a little bit in the kitchen as well. I've used this to clean the kitchen counter as well. I do really love the scent of this. It is very minty, very fresh. It does linger for a little while, but not too long. So the scent is not going to remain in your bathroom for hours upon end, but it does leave a very nice clean, minty, fresh smell for a little while. I love the packaging. I love that it's not plastic. They are very committed to sustainable packaging, so I really love that from The Grove. And like I said, this is their house brand. So far so good from their daily shower cleaner. Now, I also got from The Grove house brand their laundry detergent sheets. And this is the first time I've ever used laundry detergent sheets. Now, I don't know why it's taken me so long to try laundry detergent sheets, but these are amazing. I absolutely love these. They are very effective. I'm going to show you what they look like in case you've never used these before, like me. And they just look like a little sheet. Now, I prefer unscented laundry products, so I got the free and clear, so that means there's no scent in it. And these did a great job in cleaning my clothes, so I have a lot of workout clothes whenever I do my laundry from playing tennis or going to the gym. Did a great job of cleaning those clothes, so highly recommend the Grove & Co. laundry detergent sheets. I also wanted to try the 7th generation laundry detergent sheets. Now in this box, let me just tell you, this one has 35 loads. Now I didn't check the pricing before I sat down to do this video, so I will add the pricing so you can compare the Grove & Co. to the 7th generation. But in this box you get 35 loads, and then in the 7th generation in this box you get 32 loads. I will show you that in this box are 2 smaller boxes. So obviously in this smaller box is going to be 16 loads worth. But the thing that I really like about the 7th generation is these laundry sheets are perforated, so it makes it very easy to rip in half. So if you've got a smaller load, you can just use half of the sheet. So that is really nice about these 7th generation ones. So obviously these 7th generation ones are available at Grove. So if you prefer the 7th generation ones, you can put that in your order from Grove. Now we're moving into the things that I have not yet used, but I'm so excited about. I decided to get their Grove & Co. kitchen towels. I'm gonna go ahead and take this out of the packaging just so that we can see what they look like. So actually they've got the thicker blue stripe up at the top. They are nice and long, so that's great. And this is a little bit of that thinner texture, so a little bit more like a tea towel. So I'm really interested to see how these work out. You know, after I've washed them and used them, I think they're probably gonna soften up a little bit more. So I would say the Grove Co. kitchen towels feel a little bit more like an elevated tea towel, and I actually really love having tea towels. So really glad I picked those up. I also wanted to try the Grove Co. reusable paper towels. Now, I am not a big paper towel user. I keep the paper towels underneath our cabinet so that they're not up on top of the kitchen counter, because I really try my best to use paper towels as little as possible. So I was very intrigued by the reusable paper towels. So I'm gonna open these up too. And these basically feel like napkins, which they did describe that you can use these as napkins too. And we are big cloth napkin users in our household. We don't use paper napkins at all. I always use reusable napkins, you know, for dinner time, for mealtime. So these feel amazing and I love this design as well. So I'm really excited to give these a try, see how these wash up. I also have cute little washcloths that I got in Japan in our powder room right off the kitchen that I use as hand towels. So I think that these might be good in our powder room as well. So I feel like these are going to be multi-purpose. So I'm super excited about these. So really glad that I decided to pick these up. But then speaking about paper towels, I did decide to try their tree-free paper towels. I believe these are made from bamboo. Yes, they are made from 100% sustainably grown bamboo. So like I said, I do try to avoid using paper towels as much as possible, but then of course there are times when you do need to reach for a paper towel. So I decided to give these a try. So I will let you guys know how those work out in a future video. Now I think so far everything I have talked about has been the Grove Co. house brand, except for the 7th generation laundry detergent sheets, but I do want to let you know that they carry a ton of other brands. For instance, they do carry David's, so when I saw this as an option of something to pick up, I went ahead and grabbed another David's whitening and anti-plaque toothpaste in the peppermint flavor. This is definitely one of my favorites that David's carries, so I grabbed another one of these because, as you guys know, if you've watched especially my empties videos, that David's is definitely a staple around our house. So you're probably going to notice a theme here in terms of cleaning. I decided to get the house brand, the Grove & Co. brand reusable dish and cleaning cloth. Now, I've seen these a lot just, you know, on end caps when I'm at New Seasons, which is the natural foods market that I go to here all the time here in Portland. But I've never taken the leap into buying one of these before. Actually, there's 2 of these cloths in this packet. So when I saw that these were available for me to choose from, when they had the whole array of items for me to choose from, I decided to go ahead and grab these. So I'm really intrigued to see how these work out, these reusable dish and cleaning cloths. I think you can put these in the washing machine, so we'll see how durable these are. And like I said, I'll be reporting back on how all of these things work out for me. And then the last 2 things that I have from my Grove haul are some hair bands, and this is the brand called Kitsch, and these are recycled nylon hair elastics. So I am very, very picky about my hair ties, my hair elastics. I have very thick hair, and so I really need hair ties to grip my hair very, very well, especially when I'm working out, playing tennis. I really need something to grip my hair really well. So these do seem to be a little bit on the thin side. I'm not exactly sure how these are going to end up working out for me. I was thinking about putting it in my hair right now, tying up my hair right now in a ponytail, but that's really not going to give me a good idea about how it's going to work out for me while I'm either, you know, on the treadmill or playing tennis. So I will have to report back to you guys later about how these Kitsch hair elastics do work out, but I will say they do feel very soft. They feel nice and stretchy. So I don't really think they're going to give me any kind of an issue in terms of like ripping my hair out as I'm pulling it out of my hair. So from that aspect, they do seem like they're going to be very good. And then lastly, I picked up the Stasher silicone bowls, and these are essentially silicone containers that you can put your, you know, used food in. You could also put a sandwich in here, you know, in your lunchbox. So I've never used these before. I've seen them advertised a lot. I've heard people talk about them a lot. I'm trying to get these bowls untucked from each other. As I was saying, I've heard these talked about so many times over and over and over again about how great they are, but I've actually never tried them. They seem like they close very snugly. Seems like they're very easy to close, which is nice. So I'm excited to give these a try, see how they do in terms of storing food. Like I said, I had never tried these before, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing how the Stashers work out. So that is what I chose to get from the Grove. I want to thank them for letting me do this. It was super fun being able to choose all of these different things. I would say I am most excited about these reusable paper towels. I feel like these are going to be super, super versatile. I feel like these dish towels are also really pretty. Very excited about that. And also I am very, very excited to have finally tried these laundry detergent sheets. I'm very impressed with both the 7th generation as well as the Grove Co. ones. but I think I'm a little bit partial to the 7th generation just because I love the fact that they are already perforated. I mean, you could easily take out a pair of scissors and just cut the Grove Co. ones in half if you are partial to those, or if it turns out that the pricing is better on the Grove Co. ones. So anyway, I don't know if I mentioned that this was my first experience with shopping with Grove Co. And I wanna say that their shipping was incredibly fast. And they have an amazing variety of products to choose from. So I will definitely be shopping with them again in the future. So now let's get to the items that I purchased from Victoria Beckham. Now, as you know, I am absolutely in love with her kajal eyeliners. I love her bronze one, and I have really fallen for her one in cinnamon. I spoke about that in my other video that I just did, my favorites from July and August. And when I found out that they came out with a new color called shimmering mauve, I really wanted to get that. So I knew I was going to be placing an order at some point. And then I was also seeing some positive reviews for her new concealer, which is in a click pen style delivery. And if you guys have watched some of my videos where I have been talking about the Touche Éclat from YSL, I have really fallen for that concealer. But the Touche Éclat is not a true concealer where it's going to conceal dark circles. It's just a little bit more of a highlighter, illuminating with slight concealing properties. I absolutely love it and I use it all the time, but I was definitely intrigued by the reviews that I've seen of the Victoria Beckham concealer, so I really wanted to get that as well. And then I also saw that she had come out with a new blush product, so I decided to get all three. So let's go ahead and start with the concealer. So this is what the pen looks like, and I'm pretty sure it's just called the concealer pen, and it is indeed expensive. It is $68, so I am not here to justify the cost of this concealer pen to you. It is ridiculously expensive, but I also have a couple of other products that are very expensive in the concealer family, like the Clé de Peau concealer, which I don't even know how much that one costs. That might be more expensive than this one, but I absolutely love that concealer. It is a holy grail product for me. I still use it to this day. I have actually had it for so long. It has lasted for so long. I don't think this one's gonna last quite as long as the Clé de Peau one. But anyway, in my opinion, if it's not gonna break the bank for you, it is worth it. And I actually really, really love this. So let's go ahead and get into it a little bit here. I got the color LM1, which is light medium with neutral to warm undertones. So I feel like the color match is really, really good for me. And this is what the pen looks like. And I might have a little bit of the product left on here for you to see. And it really goes on to the skin so smoothly. It's a real pleasure to use, a real pleasure to apply. And it just blends really easily. Now I realize that's probably not super helpful for you to see me just spreading it on my palm. So I do have some B-roll of me applying these products on my skin this morning while I was getting ready for this video. Now I do think there might be a good amount of sun coming in as I'm applying this concealer, and I wasn't really aware of that. So hopefully it's not getting blasted out too much, but you'll see me applying this concealer obviously under my eyes here. And as I'm applying it, I'm not talking to you about it, but I'm thinking this in my head that it is so, so easy to apply. It's just so creamy. And it's just, as I was saying before, it's very much a pleasure to apply. It feels very elegant. It feels very smooth. It doesn't skip on the skin at all. I can't stress enough how smooth and creamy this feels going on to the skin. And then when I take the IT Cosmetics brush to blend it in, again, it just blends so smoothly. It just melts right into the skin while giving you coverage. Now, I would not say this is an intensely full coverage concealer. I would say it's more along the lines of medium coverage, but for me, that is what I want. I don't want something that's gonna feel super cakey or that's going to start creasing under the lines, which I think when you start getting into that full coverage realm, you can risk that happening. This is the perfect amount of coverage for me. I also don't mind a little bit of my dark circles peeking through. I kind of like that natural look. So this is the perfect amount of coverage for me. So can't say enough good things about this. I am in love with this concealer. And then I think I start to apply a little bit of my Merit Stick Foundation. I'm just showing you a little bit of me applying this just so that you can see how they blend together seamlessly. It's very easy to apply the Merit. So this is what I have on my skin today. This is all I have on my skin today as far as foundation goes. I've got the Merit and then the Victoria Beckham concealer, and then that is it. So next up, I'm going to talk about her Satin Kajal eyeliner in Shimmering Mauve. And as the name suggests, this is a beautiful mauvey color, but definitely leaning towards purple. And as you can see, it has such a beautiful depth of color. And I love how when you smudge it out, you get a little bit more of that purpley bronzy look. It's just really, really pretty. So again, I've got some B-roll of me applying this onto my eyes this morning as I was getting ready for filming this video. I do have some eyeshadow on my eyes. I've got a wash of the Tom Ford cream shadow in bronze on my eyes. I'll link that down below because I can't remember the specific name of it, but it's the Tom Ford bronzy shimmery eyeshadow that's in a pot. But anyway, you'll see me here putting the Victoria Beckham Shimmering Mauve on my waterline. And then like I usually do with these Kajal eyeliners is I put it on my upper eyelid as well, close to the lash line, and then I smudge it out. And I just really love that the look of this eyeliner is giving. I like how it looks a little bit darker on the lower lash line and the waterline, and then I can smudge it out and it gives a little bit of a messy kind of smoked out look, but it's not like it's a nighttime look per se. So what I'm really loving about this eyeliner is it gives just a nod to that purple eyeliner look without it being overly purple. And hopefully you're seeing here as I'm talking to you now with the finished look that you'll see that it's not overly purple. It just kind of gives that subtle purple look without it being overwhelmingly purple. And then finally, I did take the leap and I decided to get the color wash. And this is in Flushed and it's a sheer blush red. They also have coral and berry mauve, but I decided that I felt like Flushed might be the most universally flattering, so I decided to go ahead and get this color. And I will say this is not the easiest product to work with. What I have found is, and what you do is you push this top button down and a little bit of the product gets into the dropper here. And you'll see here in the B-roll that what I like to do is apply it directly to my cheeks. Now, I think you can apply it to your hand, or if you want to use like a little artist palette and put it there, I think that is totally fine as well. But I think what you might notice is if you use it on your hand, it might stain your hand a little bit. So I just like to apply it directly to my cheeks and either pat it with my finger or use a brush. But what I have found is when I pat it with my finger, I feel like my finger actually soaks up some of the product. So when I use the brush to blend it out, I feel like I get a better payoff with the color. So you will see here that I am applying 3 layers of this product. So it's definitely buildable, and obviously the more times you layer it, the more intense the color will be. And hopefully you'll see close up that the color is very, very beautiful and it gives a nice subtle glow. And I feel like it is really, really beautiful. So I am actually really liking this product a lot. Now, if you are somebody who wants a bright pop of color and you really want your blush to be super intense, then this is probably not what you want to reach for. But if you like a subtle wash of color and you want a nice subtle glow, this is something you might want to look into. Like I said, I have really been enjoying it. I feel like it gives me what I want on a daily basis when I don't want something that's going to be overwhelming in terms of color on my face. I still obviously have it on my face. This is all I have on my face today. So I've got the foundation products I was talking to you about. I did use the bronzer from Tower 28, their Getty Sculptino. So I've got that bronzer on my face, and then I've got this on my cheeks. So I applied this probably about 2.5 hours ago. So I feel like it's actually doing pretty well in terms of giving me color on my cheeks. Now, as usual, I am sitting in front of big glass doors, so I've got quite a bit of sun coming in on me. I will go ahead and turn off my ring light so maybe you can see a little bit better. But anyway, I feel like the color is still going strong after 2 hours, and I like the effect that it gives. I feel like it's very pretty. I feel like it gives me a very nice, lit from within glow. So for those of you who like natural color and you are interested in a color wash type of product and you typically are a Victoria Beckham fan, then I would say definitely go ahead and get it. But if you feel like it might be a little bit too fussy for you and you like something with a bigger color payoff, then I would definitely pass on it. But for me, I am really enjoying it and I'm definitely glad that I got it. So when it comes to the Victoria Beckham, these 3 products that I got, I am absolutely in love with the concealer pen and I am absolutely in love with the shimmering mauve kajal eyeliner. These 2 right here are absolute no-brainers for me. If I only could pick one though, I would definitely say the eyeliner because these eyeliners I use on a daily basis. I absolutely love them. The cinnamon has been my favorite for the entire summer, so absolutely love cinnamon, but I am absolutely thrilled to have the mauve as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit random in the topics, but I definitely wanted to give you the backstory about my tattoo because obviously you guys are going to be seeing it as I'm showing you products and putting makeup on my face and everything. So I figured there might be some questions about it. So I thought I would answer most of your questions that might come up. If you do have any other questions about my tattoo that I did not answer, feel free to ask me anything down below. I'd be happy to answer any other questions that I didn't get to. And I also really wanted to talk to you about the things that the Grove sent me because I am really excited about this order that I got from them. And I felt like I just wanted to share that with you all. And then of course, I wanted to share with you guys what I decided to purchase from Victoria Beckham because I am really loving everything I got. So that wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. And if you have not yet subscribed, I would absolutely love it if you would do so. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.